Pizza and Zombies, an original play by Brandon M. Prosek. This production was directed by Tess Holbrook and produced by Aaron Brokenbough and the Off Center for the Dramatic Arts in Burlington, Vermont.
Zombie Log Day 261. In the last 8.7 months we've been locked in this establishment, I often feared the infamous cabin fever that pirates feel being stuck on their ship at sea for too long. Nightmares brewed in my mind that we too would be driven into madness, leaving nothing but anarchy. Not the anarchy like when a fool chooses to order pizza with a topping such as anchovies, but true anarchy, with violence among ourselves. At least pirates could partake in some scenic visuals to assist in passing the time. We're stuck.
How long do we usually let him drone on for? And every day?
If you prolong this interruption, it'll only increase the length of my log for the day. The locomotive carrying my thoughts has diverted to a point that I cannot find any longer. Hold for memory. Oh, yes. Zombie Log Day 261 continued. I am going to propose to the population that we reinstate our old routine of pretending for 1 hour that we are still in the normal world.
You want us to pretend that everything is normal?
Precisely. We can participate in a game of some sort.
Long as it isn't tag. No tag, please. It's a little too close to the reminder of that gigantic game of tag we're playing around the world. The zombies chasing people down to make them it too.
What's going on?
Gavin wants us to do that thing where we pretend to be normal for a while.
I'm going to start the timer, and we shall not carry on with malicious verbal exchanges. That includes statements or questions peppered with sarcastic undertones or an overabundance of saltiness. Noelle and Sadie are resting in the back, so we'll allow their snoozery while we game. Timer is starting now.
If you really want game ideas, it'd have to be something simple. Like kick the can?
What makes you believe kick the can is simple? There are a large quantity of factors, such as the size of the can, the density of the can. Is there anything inside the can if we're allowed to wear shoes?
Well, you just kept him busy for probably a good hour.
Just an hour? Nonsense. That's an entertaining topic we could discuss all night.
When one kicks the can, does the can have to remain on the ground, or can it go airborne?
Allow me to join in your quandaries involving this can kicking.
Look, we're stuck in here, and unless you have any better ways to pass the time, then I'm open for ideas. Why not try a game?
It'd also depend the variation you'd like to play. Perhaps the final person to kick said can before it were unkickable would be the victor?
A distraction could be nice. I wasn't much for games growing up, though. If you want, I could teach you two some self-defense moves.
What did you used to do before all of this?
I'm a professional wrestler and part-time kickboxing instructor.
If you were to engage down that variation, you may require the precise definition of what makes a can kickable or unkickable. Perhaps we should define kick first.
Let's dive in then. I hope your self-defense doesn't include just hitting people with folding chairs or doing sleeper holds.
Come here. I'll show you two a thing or two.
After, they all sit down at the table eating pizza.
We may have to be careful doing workouts that tough. We'll eat the food quicker.
Oh, you said it. I don't think we've exerted that much energy in months. So out of shape.
We should make that a semi-regular thing. Keep us from gaining weight with all the pizza we're eating.
You calling us fat? Andre, quick, something is wrong with Jared.
Bring him here. Let me see him. Everybody else back up.
He was just sleeping, but his breathing slowed down. Listen closely.
Completed. There are an estimated 792.6 factors involved when looking into the game of kick the can.
Shut up, Gavin!
He's still breathing, but yeah, he...
Ow!
What is it?
Sadie turns to the rest of them. She has blood on her neck.
Oh my God.
He bit me.
No, this isn't happening.
They all take a step back from Noelle and Sadie. Jared starts thrashing in her arms.
Jared bit her. Don't you all see?
Zombie baby!
Shut your freaking mouth!
Noelle punches Gavin, knocking him out.
Your baby is a zombie and he bit you.
Jared is not a zombie. Babies with new teeth bite things.
We don't know for sure if there's not a cure.
Are you serious? You're going to believe Andre, the crackpot scientist? There isn't a cure. There's nothing that stops zombies besides killing them again.
Don't you dare talk about laying a finger on our baby!
I'm just trying to survive.
Sadie holds her neck and slumps to the floor. Andre runs over to check on Sadie.
I'm going to chop your hand off if you try to lay a finger on my wife.
Noelle, this isn't helping anything.
We need to make a decision about Sadie and Jared.
Don't talk about me like I'm dead already.
This is my wife and child. None of you have the right.
Don't we? If they stay here, then we're all at risk of being bitten.
What? You plan to throw them on the street?
Where else would they go?
Peyton turns and kicks Meadow in the face, knocking her backwards so she falls next to Gavin, who is still on the ground.
Let's all just take a deep breath. Talk about this like rational adults.
I'm not feeling well.
We aren't going anywhere. We aren't having this conversation.
Honey, you know we have to have this conversation. There's no other choice. There has been enough death here. I can't be responsible for it. Guess it's what I deserve for trying to vote for Bobby to leave.
That's completely different. He was a gross man. You're a mother, and this is our child.
So my life means more?
Of course it does.
What would you be saying if one of them was bitten, and it was to save Jared?
I can't base our decision on what we do in other scenarios because this is happening right now.
Can you all give us a moment?
Andre, Lexa, and Peyton back away.
Don't you dare say goodbye.
Honey, please, you need to
How are you acting so calm in all of this?
We've seen what has happened to every single person who was bit. I don't want my final moments alive to be spent in hysterics.
You want a scenario? If I was bit, would you just idly let me die? Would you? Or would you fight with every fiber and every essence of your being to do whatever you could to save me? When I said I do years ago, that 100% meant till death do us part. Until your heart isn't beating and your death is completely certain, I'm not parting with you or giving up. I love you too freaking much.
I love you too, but there's no other.
The freezer!
I'm not going to live in a freezer with my baby.
Dear, this is the ultimate form of tough love. Get in the freezer.
Noelle starts pushing Sadie to the freezer, while her other arm pulls the crib behind her. Meadow and Gavin start stirring and sitting up.
What is going on?
I believe I heard someone is being pressured to enter the freezer against her will?
Meadow leaves and comes back with one of the weapons she made with a broom and pizza cutters.
All of you stop! The bitten people are leaving. If you're not with me, then you're against me.
What are you doing?
I've killed plenty of zombies and don't mind adding a few more tallies to my list.
This is only going to escalate things. We don't kill the living.
Whoever plans on keeping the infected here, you're dead people walking in my eyes. So I don't give a single solitary fluff.
Noelle turns around and comes marching in with her weapon made of a mop and knives attached. She twirls her weapon around and stabs it into the floor. Swing! She drags the knife staff across the floor, scratching a line.
Mark my words. Whoever crosses this line, I'm going to take that as you trying to hurt my family, and I will kill you. Choose her side or mine right now. Got it? Choose now.
Gavin, Peyton, Lexa, and Andre are standing in the middle between Meadow and Noelle.
You can't make us choose. You two are acting like animals.
Peyton swiftly moves to Noelle's side.
Should have never let you in. Everything was just fine before you got here.
Andre moves over towards Meadow.
So that is the side you have chosen.
If the choice were up to me, there'd be no violence amongst any of us. Meadow has saved my existence on a variety of occasions.
I'm not choosing. You aren't either, right, Gavin?
Get over here, Gavin.
I've never found ultimatums fair or constructive in any capacity. May I propose a third team that will fight who remains living?
No!
Very well. I've never enjoyed being in the middle of picklish situations.
He joins Noelle and Peyton.
What's going to be your decision, Lexa?
I can't.
Yes, you can.
Don't make me do this.
Don't make a mistake you're going to regret.
I don't want to do this.
Well, you have to. One side has been your weird, dysfunctional family for almost a year. Or would you rather take the psycho who wants to kill a baby?
Coming from the woman who just forced her wife into a darn walk-in freezer.
Lexa joins Meadow.
I can't believe...
This is a lot bigger than you and me.
So be it. If anyone crosses the other line, it is considered an act of war. Unless we still want to include an hour of normality for sanity purposes?
No!
Yes.
No!
All right, fine. Just trying to prevent cabin fever with perhaps kick the can is all. Zombie log day 295. This marks day 34 for what I'm coining Civil War III, Battle for Frozen Wives and Lives.
There was more than one civil war?
Civil War I, which was the American Civil War. Second was Marvel's Civil War, which brings us to this one, the third.
Lordy Lord.
Let me finish the log. Then you can continue to criticize my existence. For the last month and 4 days, we remained at an utter stalemate and ceasefire, only allowing movement so that beings from the other side can use the lavatory. War is war, but we've stayed away from falling into complete savages without manners. Yet.
Little forts have been built, and everyone is armed with a weapon.
I'm going to make food. Got it?
I'm going to the bathroom, everyone. This is not shots being fired, okay?
Lexa walks to the bathroom with her hands up, leaving her weapon behind. Andre nudges Meadow.
We need to exchange some words.
What is it?
We should vacate this area before any real harm comes to any of us.
No! We've been traveling and surviving out there forever while they just got to sit here on their butts making pizza.
They allowed us entry into their shelter, provided nourishment, and you want to snub them out? We can locate another place to...
I said no! No! Did I mention no? Because all the no!
Have you short-circuited?
I'm not going back out there unless we run out of food or overrun with them bitey freaks out there. It's my turn to feel remotely safe for once.
Safety should not have a battle line drawn.
Did you keep track of all the zombies we had to kill?
My energies have been focused on how to keep more among the living.
Before I found you, I killed 70. Want to know how many I'm on now? 99. That's right. I've survived nearly 100 of those disgusting, homicidal, mindless freaks. I've scratched. I've clawed. I've had to even bite to keep breathing life inside this body of mine. Seen too much is an understatement. This is life as we know it now. Survival of the fittest has come, and this fit cracker isn't going without doing anything, everything, and all the things I have to do in order to keep me from losing my mind.
You're frightening me, Meadow.
You know what has to be done. Otherwise, you wouldn't have stood on my side.
Leave them in the freezer while I continue my research on the cure?
You're stuck in the old world, Andre. This isn't the society we remember, where our biggest issue was what basic flavor coffee drink we want to order. This is the land where if you don't learn to shoot or slice and dice with whatever object you can sharpen, you're going to be left screaming with teeth sunk into your skin like some meaty, freaking appetizer. Violence isn't something we have to resort to, but a necessity. A necessity!
You're terrifying me. You're monologuing.
Point out to me which part of what I'm saying doesn't make any sense to you, or isn't riddled with nothing but absolute truth.
You would never.
Never what? Kill? How do you know that? You never knew me before all of this. In all the months we traveled together, did you ever bother to ask what I was like before all of this? No! You didn't want to know. And it doesn't even freaking matter anymore. Good thing I don't have a gun to your head while quizzing you on my last name, because you'd be telling me to pull the trigger. No one is going to care about last names in this new world, because we will resort back to our animalistic roots of not caring about one another. Did you ever even care about me? Or was I just someone you could use to keep you safe? Huh? Answer me that, Andre!
We haven't slept enough in the past few weeks.
Don't you see, Andre? I don't need sleep.
Meadow gets on top of Andre, putting her hands around his neck.
I'm wide awake to the truth you refuse to accept.
Andre tries to push her off. With his one hand, he pulls a needle from out of his pocket and jabs it into her leg. Meadow passes out and falls over. Noelle is startled and wakes up. Lexa and Peyton walk out.
What happened?
She's overloaded her system. I gave her a sedative I had to create for times when our adrenaline was too high to sleep and we had to force ourselves to. I'm going to bind her until she calms her anger levels. Would either of you object to my verdict?
The three grab some extension cords and various other things to tie up Meadow.
You okay?
I would prefer not to speak of it.
Honey, can you please talk to me? You've loved giving me the cold shoulder in the past, but this is too literal to be funny.
Am I allowed to talk in here? Or do I only get one phone call to the outside like regular prisoners in custody?
You finally respond and it's just sass?
Would you prefer the silent treatment to continue?
Are those my only two options?
You're being unbelievably selfish. Crazily selfish. Irredeemably selfish. Is this seriously how you want me to spend my final days shoved in a frickin' freezer?
We're buying time.
Buying time for what? You and I both know there's no uncertainty to how this will end.
If you haven't noticed, there's a whole bunch of freaking uncertainty happening out there. I'm not letting you go until we exercise every option.
Exercise every option? We're sitting here. How is this accomplishing anything except you prolonging your denial that I'm dying?
We said, till death do us part. You never said, till death is looming, we'll have to part.
I was just thinking of our first fight. Remember that? I was so angry with you that I was ready to storm out of my own apartment and leave you there. Part of me wanted to have the last word, and part of me hoped you could stew in whatever it was I'd leave saying. Part of me just wanted to get away from hearing our own voices at such a disgusting volume. It was a terrible mixture of tears, snot, squeals, and bitterness, bellowing from both of our faces. I hated it. I hated us like that. Do you remember what you did next?
I didn't let you leave. I said, leaving the fight will only let it linger until it lashes back again. It never truly leaves. If we keep fighting, we'll fight through it until we forget what we were even fighting about.
You were always fight. I was always flight.
And remember what I said after that?
Fights will be screwed, and fights will also be screwed, but we'll all be screwed together.
My mom taught me that. Anytime her or my dad made me want to storm off to my room during one of our arguments.
She used that on your dad?
She did. I wished you could have met them before they passed.
I do too. I'd love to hear more about them. You hardly bring them up.
You know how most marriages end for some of the same handful of reasons? Someone cheats, or someone has an addiction problem, someone gets sick of someone and leaves, someone gave up their dream, or what have you. I bet if someone took a poll on why most marriages end, my money is on the fact that it boils down to 5 reasons or less.
I thought you said your parents stayed married.
Oh, they did. Never divorced. If you made a list of all the main reasons people divorced, I bet my parents did any and all of those things to each other. They cheated, they battled with addictions, they got sick of one another, and they certainly gave up some of their dreams to be with one another. They were sometimes downright atrocious to each other. They never quit. Never quit because they knew it couldn't be the same without the other. I'm never quitting on you either.
Zombie Log Day 316. This marks Day 55 for Civil War III, Battle for Frozen Wives and Lives. It should also be noted that Sadie and baby Jared have been locked in the freezer for 55 days. The 55th day was Bobby's last before zombifying.
Would someone shut him up? And these damn zombie logs?
Barking up the wrong tree.
Could we not all have a discussion amongst ourselves as if I cannot hear it?
Would you all just leave Gavin alone?
Could I finish my log?
I'm going to kill him if that's the last thing I do.
Did I hear that correctly? You would spend your final energy and breaths making an effort to extinguish my life. That is so... it's just so flattering.
What?
I don't know if I've ever been loved besides from my parents. Usually parents are legally obligated to love their children, in most states, I presume. However, I always believed when someone could loathe someone with such rigorous disdain that it borderline endangers their own well-being, well, that must be some form of love.
I would love to watch you die. Then when you're a zombie, I'll watch you die again.
Peyton, look! She's giving me bumples from a goose.
Let's talk about something else. Gavin, why don't you tell them all what you found out?
I've been attempting to retain in accordance with what was the pre-zombie calendar. We'll need to discuss if we intend to invent a new one. As per the old calendar, this would be Christmas Eve.
I propose that we forget this line we've drawn for one night. There are Christmas decorations in storage.
Lexa, I know you're capable of being sane. Your friend over there, though, not sure.
Being tied up is the only thing keeping me from shutting you up.
Please, before I smack you both while you're sleeping, I'm going to grab the pizza from the oven I started, and when I get back, we're all going to eat, listen to some Christmas music, and not kill each other. Gavin, come help me.
Noelle and Meadow both reluctantly nod. Lexa leaves. She comes back with a box, starts decorating. Gavin follows with pizza, sets it down, then brings over a slice to Andre.
I should apologize that I have not been able to provide more collaboration on your antidote for zombification.
No apologies are necessary, Gavin. We've been undertaking the prospective invention of a way to solve a disease that until a year ago was perceived as fictional. By wanting to assist me at all has proven more worth than resorting to these barbaric threats.
This line has prevented us from spending an adequate amount of time together.
What to you entails an adequate amount of time together?
I have not been able to quantify that amount.
It's a calculation that seems impossible.
Would you like a slice of my pepperoni?
Gavin holds out a slice to feed Andre.
Your pepperoni would taste good. I meant to say the pepperoni.
After the pepperoni, my pepperoni is available on your menu.
As Andre bites the pizza, he coughs. He spits some of the pizza into the pot of liquid that he's stirring.
Ah, curses. We've contaminated our test with pizza sauce. Dump it and begin again.
Andre, look once more.
Thank the pizza
gods.
We did it.
We've created the cure for zombification.
Andre scoops what's in the pot into 4 small jars. He puts 3 in a satchel and stares at one of them. Meadow sneaks out of her restraints.
How do you know?
We were trying to find a substance that contained enough sodium particles to sustain without...
Give the deep dish darn! Give it to Sadie and Jared!
Everyone concentrate and remain tranquil before things fly off any handles. We currently only have enough materials to make 4 doses of the cure. We will require some of us to venture and scrounge more supplies to replicate this.
Andre is stabbed by Meadow.
Is this what I get for dedicating a year to helping people?
Survival of the fittest, Doc.
Andre, no! Quickly, take the one that's in your hand!
This is a cure for the zombie virus. It doesn't cure death. She stabbed me.
My emotions are removing my ability to function comprehensively.
Quite all right. Well, you could try giving me some as a zombie, but I'm guessing you'll all be killing each other over those 4 anecdotes, won't you? I'm going to go ahead and perish now. Merry Christmas.
Andre tosses the one jar that was in his hand to Gavin. Andre then collapses to the floor.
Zombie log this!
Meadow charges swiftly over to Gavin and stabs him. His pizza falls onto his chest. He sees red on his stomach.
Is this pizza sauce or blood? It's actually both.
Gavin topples over.
You psycho!
Peyton runs over with her weapon towards Meadow. They fight.
How did zombies get in?
Someone left the back door open! Who did it? Oh, wait. I may have.
Noelle starts battling off the zombies. Lexa reaches for the satchel when a zombie claws at her. Peyton fights Meadow. Noelle fending off a couple of zombies still creeping in. They are using weapons they made and aren't exactly skilled warriors. Lexa kills a zombie. Noelle kills one of the zombies and comes over to help Peyton and Meadow.
I deserve the cure after everything I've been through.
Noelle and Peyton are weakened as she gains the upper hand on them. Meadow kicks Noelle in her knee as she falls over. She slices Peyton on her side as she falls too. Peyton holds up her weapon as Meadow tries beating her with her weapon. Peyton is barely hanging on, blocking the strikes. A zombie walks over, biting Meadow.
No! Give me the cure! Give it to me!
Peyton knocks the weapon from her hand as Lexa comes over from the other side. Lexa stabs Meadow and she falls to her knees.
Don't forget to tip your servers in hell.
Peyton stabs her again and she falls over, dead. Peyton collapses back to her knees. Lexa and Noelle come over.
Did you tell her to tip her servers in hell?
I'm sure even down there they work hard. What are you waiting for? Take the cure and go give it to Sadie and Jared.
Long as they're okay, I'll be okay. You two take the last ones.
Noelle takes 2 jars and runs. Peyton falls to the ground. Lexa comes to her side. Peyton's side is bleeding badly.
Let me help you. We can get this all bandaged up.
Don't worry about me. Take one of those serums before a zombie comes in the back door and bites you.
Lexa grabs one from the satchel and she drinks it.
There's one left. You can take it.
My life has been a tornado of terrible tendencies. I feel like I can juggle all the ridiculous things thrown at me instead of dealing with my own issues. I manipulated you, Lexa.
What are you talking about?
I've been showing you love, but pulling back just enough so that you want more. I've been trapping you in this pizzeria with me because I was afraid you'd never come back. Take that cure and try to find other people like Andre to make more. Don't waste it on me.
I'm not going to just leave you here to die alone.
She won't be alone.
Gavin! You're alive?
Still very much dying. Peyton will be here with me. She won't be alone.
It will be just a regular old pizza party here. Don't worry about us.
Andre crawls over to the rest of them. Meadow's body slowly gets up as a zombie. Sadie comes running with a weapon and stabs Meadow again. Meadow tips over, really dead. Noelle enters holding baby Jared.
I was going to say that the cure worked, but I believe she just showed you how good she was feeling. Her and baby Jared are starting to look good and normal.
Are you saying I didn't look good before?
That didn't take you long to feel better and get back to sassing, did it?
If you're never gonna quit on me, I'm never gonna quit sassing.
It'll prove to be easier for survival if you all leave us weaker ones behind. Best strategy for survival. Lexa, can you do me a favor? My dying wishes. Take my survival bag with you. It has all of my journals on tips for other survival scenarios, in case you encounter some of the non-zombie variety.
Of course. Is that all?
I know this was humorous for you all before, but I'd like this request taken with the utmost seriousness. Promise that you won't ridicule me as I die.
We promise. What is it?
In the freezer, there are some soda bottles I've sealed containing my potential offspring. Should you decide to repopulate and would not like to take a partner, I would like the Gavin genes to survive on. That's always been my reasoning behind studying survival strategies my entire life. For my kin.
I'll say this, Gavin. If I find some way to use your specimen, I'd be honored.
Thank you. Perhaps if your genes and I produce a girl, Lexa, they can mate with baby Jared over there.
I'll do my best.
Splendid. Back to dying.
Andre sits up next to Gavin.
You're not getting away that easy.
Is there something you care to affectionately exclaim?
I'll kick the can of stating something cheesy and just do this.
Andre pulls Gavin in for a kiss. Noelle and Sadie leave, holding one another. Lexa is still cradling Peyton's head.
You should leave me.
Lexa pours some of the cure down Peyton's mouth.
What are you doing?
I only gave you half. The other half will go have someone try to replicate. We're getting out of this place for good. You owed me a date, and damn it, we are going on it.
Lexa helps Peyton up, and they limp away. Gavin slowly sits up again, taking something from his pocket.
Zombie Log Day 316 continued. After nearly 3 decades of surviving, my seeds have found a taker. I'm not going to die alone because I'll have Andre to hold at my side. I hope that all of these zombie logs can be compiled into a survival story. Perhaps on the radio or in a play of some sort. This is Gavin, signing off now. Thank you for listening to the tellings that form this weird tale of pizzas and zombies.
Thank you for listening to part 3 of Pizza and Zombies. This production would not be possible without the generous donors to the Off Center for the Dramatic Arts. Consider donating today at offcentervt.com to keep the arts alive and the zombies still at bay.